What is going on, baseball fans? It is non-tender day in Major League Baseball. We got some breaking news. Kyle Schwarber is a free agent. That's pretty crazy if you ask me. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We got all these non-tenders going on. Kyle Schwarber, Eddie Rosario, just to name a couple. The Yankees have tendered a contract for Gary Sanchez. The Red Sox showing some interest in Corey Kluber. There's a lot to talk about. Let's not waste any time, and let's get to it.
Wake up the Don Bambino and have me face him. Maybe I'll drill him in the ass.
And what is going on, baseball fans? How are we doing tonight? We got a lot of people in here to start off. 58 people in the chat right now. How is everyone doing? Wow, we got a lot of news to talk about tonight. I was getting ready for this stream. I ate 2 pounds of food and I was falling asleep. And then all of a sudden, all this news started coming in. And I'm a little overwhelmed at the moment. There is just stuff flying in. There's probably going to be some more stuff flying in during this stream. We got a lot to talk about tonight. How's everyone doing? I think it's Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Hope everyone had a great Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, everyone. Do people still say that? I think people still say that. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces in the chat. Chris Rodriguez, what is going on? Moderators, thank you for coming in. Luke Kenny, what's going on? Hayden, how are we doing? As a Braves fan, hello. Kevin Brady, what is going on? How you doing? Patrick, again, welcome. Ethan, how are we doing? Sports Kids, haven't seen you around for a while. How are you doing? Ethan's here. Judah Paul's here. Orioles 2041 is here. We got a lot of people in here right now. 68 people in the chat right now. What is going on, everyone? All right, we're off to a very hot start. I don't even know where to start right now. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, where do we even start? Let's start off with the juicy one. The breaking news. Kyle Schwarber has been non-tendered by the Chicago Cubs. In a way, I think a lot of people will say this is not very surprising. Out of all these guys, but then again, I don't know. I think to me personally, it's a bit surprising. But out of all these guys that the Cubs could have gotten rid of, Kyle Schwarber to me was the most likely. But I guess they thought they wouldn't really be able to get much for him in a trade. I figured they could, but they have just decided to cut ties. And that, to me, I'm very surprised about that. The free agent market just got a pretty good power bat. And there's a lot of teams that could use a Kyle Schwarber. So let me come back to you here. To me, this is pretty big news. Kyle Schwarber isn't just some whatever bat on the market. Kyle Schwarber is one of the better power hitters in the league. And, I knew the Cubs, they kind of recently came out and said, hey, we're probably looking to maybe trade a lot of these guys, a Chris Bryant, and maybe an Anthony Rizzo, a Kyle Schwarber, maybe a Javier Baez. I figured Kyle Schwarber was the most likely out of the bunch to get traded. I didn't think he was going to get non-tendered. But let's get to the story that deserves the credit here, because I am not the one to report this. So let's share the screen. Let's get right to it. So here we go. Cubs non-tender Schwarber. They also non-tendered Almora and Tepera. So right here, the Cubs announced that Schwarber, Almora, right-hander Ryan Tepera, and Jose Martinez have all been non-tendered. So the Cubs have informed Kyle Schwarber that he won't be tendered a contract for the upcoming season. ESPN Jesse Rogers reports. Let's actually go to that tweet real quick. So the Cubs haven't announced it officially yet, but per a source, Kyle Schwarber has been informed he won't be tendered a contract for 2021. He's a free agent after 6 years with the team. He was set to make in the neighborhood of $8+ million, which I didn't think was a lot of money, for Kyle Schwarber. I guess maybe a lot of people in the front office with the Cubs are saying, I don't know if we're really going to get all that much for a guy like Kyle Schwarber. Now, my personal opinion, I think the Cubs should have traded him a couple years ago or right after that World Series, they really could have gotten something for him because there was kind of like, they didn't know if he could play the outfield. He could have been more of a DH and whatever. And he was still like 24 years old at the time. So you probably could have gotten a decent amount for a Kyle Schwarber at that time. But hey, we're here now in 2020. It's no longer after the 2016 World Series. So Kyle Schwarber, to me, this is a bat to really keep an eye out for. I'm getting more news. Okay, no, we've already seen that. So I will be having my phone right next to me in case anything breaks. Again, it is the non-tender deadline, so I'm ready. If anything breaks, I got it right here. But there's a lot of teams that could use a Kyle Schwarber. So if we go take a look, let's go take a look at some teams that could use a Kyle Schwarber. Right off the bat, I'm going to go to some teams that need some offense, maybe need some power. So if I take a look at the team stats from this past season, you got teams like the Rangers. I could honestly maybe see a team like the Rangers bringing him in. I don't know. I don't know what the heck the Rangers are doing. I could see them maybe doing something like this. I don't think he's going to get a ton of money, but I don't think the Pirates. I could honestly maybe see a team like the Rockies. They also just non-tendered David Dahl. So that is a possibility as well. I think Kyle Schwarber in Colorado, come on. That could be a pretty fun fit if you ask me. Kyle Schwarber, that power in Coors Field. Come on. Forget about it. That would be absolutely ridiculous. A team like the Reds maybe could fit him in somewhere. I think a lot of this really does depend. Is the National League going to get a designated hitter? That is the real question here. There's been no formal announcement of this designated hitter, whether or not the National League is going to have it or not. We don't know. If that does happen, that really opens up the market for a guy like a Kyle Schwarber and even like a guy like a Nelson Cruz. You don't really know. And I think that's why the longer they kind of delay that kind of a decision, I think you're going to see guys like a Kyle Schwarber and a Nelson Cruz stay on the market longer, because I think if the more the market opens up, the more opportunities you're going to get. So I don't know. It really just depends what's going to happen with that. But, kind of looking at this, if the National League does get a DH, I could really see a team like the Rockies going after him. I don't know. Maybe the Mariners could do something. I think maybe Kyle Schwarber in Seattle as the DH. I think you could see that. I kind of thought maybe Nelson Cruz could go to Seattle, but I don't know. I think Nelson Cruz, he's getting kind of near the end of his career now. I don't think he would want to go to a team like Seattle, but Kyle Schwarber's not too old. What is he, 27, 28 now? I could see him maybe going to Seattle. I could maybe see that being a possibility. And also, because it is the non-tender, let's talk about another team that could maybe bring in a Kyle Schwarber. And the Twins, they also non-tendered Eddie Rosario. This is a guy, he can hit for some power. But to me, personally, where I'm kind of a little iffy about Eddie Rosario is he just does not get on base very much. He had an on-base percentage right near 300, I believe, not really much higher than 300. A team like the Twins could bring in a Kyle Schwarber. You could have him play some left. You could have him DH if you don't bring back a Nelson Cruz. I really could see the Twins going after a guy like a Kyle Schwarber. I think Kyle Schwarber, he's gonna have a market. And I think you look out for a team like the Twins, look out for a team like the Mariners, look out for a team like the Rockies. I'm sorry, but the Rockies with a Kyle Schwarber in that field, with that atmosphere, or whatever the heck you call it, whatever makes the balls fly out of Coors Field like 200 miles an hour. Yeah, that would be fun if you ask me. So Kyle Schwarber, I think he's going to have a bit of a market. While I'm at it, let's actually go take a look. Kyle Schwarber, let's take a look at the stats. I'm seeing someone in the chat saying overrated. Luke Kenny, I believe. I could understand why people would think, he is a bit overrated, but I like that power from a Kyle Schwarber. Here we go. Baseball Reference. He's still going to give you some pop. Very low batting average this past year. He did not have a great batting average this past year. 308 on base. Not a good year for Kyle Schwarber, but he did have the 11 home runs. To be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of if I see a guy that's struggled this past year, I don't know. It's a 60-game season. It's less than half of a season. Who knows if this was a full 162-game season. He had 11 home runs. So that right there, that's on pace for around 30, 35 home runs. Or maybe, no, am I doing the math right? 25, 30 home runs, I'd say that's decent power. And if you have him just focus as a designated hitter, I think Kyle Schwarber could be a very good bat in a lineup. You're going to need to get that on base percentage a bit higher. You're going to have to, kind of work on that a little bit. But Kyle Schwarber, just back in 2019, he hit 250. The on base was a lot better. The on base it did kind of drop from 2018, but taking a look, he had 38 home runs in 2019. I mean, come on, he had 92 RBIs. I mean, an 871 OPS. I mean, Kyle Schwarber, he's to me, I don't know. I think honestly, if you could have him settle in as a DH somewhere, I really think that could be good for a team. He's only 27 years old. This is a lot different like someone like a Nelson Cruz. And he can still play some outfield. He's really not that bad. Whoa, we got a super chat going on. As a Braves fan, has donated $1.99. Number one, how you doing? I'm doing great. I just ate a ton of food and I'm trying to stay awake. I don't know where I'm getting all this energy from. What do you think about Duvall? We'll get to that here in a second. That's interesting. That's pretty interesting. Adam Duvall, I think that's a little interesting. We're going to get to that here in a second as a Braves fan. But yeah, Kyle Schwarber, what do you all think about this? Tell me what you think about this. Do you think that Kyle Schwarber is going to have a big market? I personally think he's going to get a lot of interest. He's only 27 years old. I think, honestly, he's gonna have a market. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you think Kyle Schwarber is going to get a lot of interest. I think, personally, he's going to get a lot of interest. I think he's going to, I don't know, that's just me. Just because of the age as well. Just because he had almost 40 home runs 2 years ago. So I'm seeing no spam. Get out of here, Calf Neck Army. Is the Calf Neck Army back? Are they back? Are they here to spam? No, Calf Neck Army. It's time for, you guys to go to bed. What is it? It's 8:50. It's way past your bedtime, Calf Neck Army. Come on. It's time for bed. Let's go. Come on. Off to bed with you. And here we go. Let's go to the next story. So, Kyle Schwarber, again, that's kind of the big news. And the next thing I wanted to talk about, this is a bit of a debate in the baseball world right now. When you look at a guy like Gary Sanchez, you're very split down the middle. From what I've seen, you got people that love Gary Sanchez, and you got people that do not like Gary Sanchez. They think Gary Sanchez needs to be cut. They think Gary Sanchez needs to go. They need to trade him. They need to just get rid of him. But then you got the other half where they're like, no, you got to work with Gary Sanchez. That power is there. He's got a good bat. Keep working with him on the catching. You got to keep him around in New York. Personally, where I'm at, if he can fix that catching, I mean, the dude is like a brick out there. He is just like a complete brick behind home plate. I'm sorry, but Garrett Cole did not want to pitch to him in the playoffs. That said something to me. He was way more in tune with a Kyle Higashioka. That said a lot to me. Gary Sanchez getting benched in the playoffs, I think that said a lot. With kind of how, I don't know, like Gary Sanchez, he was really, I mean, it's always been the defense with a Gary Sanchez, but lately it's been the offense. The offense, he is just not getting on base like he used to a couple of years ago. The power is still there, but it's just, like Gary Sanchez to me is, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of a Gary Sanchez. Let's pull up the article. All right, so yeah, Yankees will tender Gary Sanchez, so he will be getting a contract. I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised the Yankees are bringing him back. I mean, really, I wouldn't have been surprised either way if they brought him back, if they didn't bring him back. I mean, because I'm not surprised they brought him back because, first off, he's still young. He still has a ton of power in that bat, still a ton of potential in that bat, and he's only going to be earning $5.5 million. That's really not that much when you think about it at the end of the day. John Boy and the guys over there, they have been vouching for Gary Sanchez. I don't agree necessarily with their complete thoughts on Gary Sanchez. I think personally, I don't know what is going on with that defense with him. I don't know. I'm not. Oh, we got someone subscribing. William Garcia just subscribed. We have so much news to talk about. I completely forgot to do my cheap plug. If you are new here, you are just joining. We got 168 people in the chat right now looking for some baseball news. If you are looking for more baseball news, hit that subscribe button or at least consider it. We are so close to 4,000 subscribers. We are about 1 week away from the 1-year anniversary of this channel. 1 week away from, what's the date? From tomorrow. So we got 8 days to get to 4,000 subscribers. If we can get to 4,000 subscribers within 1 year of this channel, that would be phenomenal. We are so close. So hit that subscribe button. We're so close. No, we got another subscriber. Enrique Lewis Shiberton Jr. has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, my friend. So anyway, but that's all. Yeah, if you can, hit the like button, hit the freaking bell thing or whatever it is, subscribe. You know the drill. So let's get to 4,000. But here we go. Yankees, they're going to tender Gary Sanchez. Personally, I understand why, if you're a Yankee fan, if you want to bring him back. He has the potential in that bat. The dude can hit a ball to the moon. I've said this countless times. It's the defense. We got someone else subscribing. What is going on? Andrew Hofstetter has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. So Gary Sanchez, he is, again, I think a corn on the cob could do better behind the plate than a Gary Sanchez. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know. The guy has an arm. I like the arm, but he really has to fix something with this defense. Pitchers don't want to pitch to him. He lets a lot of balls get by. It's just, to me, he's just not fluid back there. I don't know what it is. Hopefully he can have a good offseason. He can really right something with that catching, because Gary Sanchez right now defensively, he's hurting that team. And when Matthew Swan has just subscribed, thank you for subscribing. Gary Sanchez, he hurts the team defensively. And when that bat is not on, he's hurting the team that much more. Gary Sanchez, if we take a look at the stats here, I mean, he hurt the team last year. He had a negative 0.5 wins above replacement according to Baseball Reference. His on-base percentage stunk. His OPS stunk. He did have 10 home runs, so that's pretty cool. But, I mean, dude, Gary Sanchez, what the heck is going on, my friend? You were an all-star in 2019. You know, he had a good amount of home runs. Noah Weston says has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, my friend. 34 home runs, 77 RBIs, and 841 OPS. He was an all-star. What happened to that Gary Sanchez? But even that Gary Sanchez, the defense was really bad. I mean, to me, he's an offensive catcher. And I'm a fan of a complete catcher in this game. I love the Yadier Molinas. I love the I'm going blank on names right now. JT Realmutos, the Yasmani Grandals. I love those kind of catchers. They can do it all. They maybe not, like a guy like a Christian Vasquez. He's not going to have too much offense. Someone else just subscribed. I am so sorry I didn't catch that. But a Christian Vasquez, not really too much with the offense, but he provides so much with the defense. He works so well with the pitchers. He just has such a good feel for the defensive side of the game. And you can clearly see that Gary Sanchez does not have that feel for the game in that way. The dude can hit a ball to Pluto. Is Pluto even still a planet? Is that what's going on with that? Oh, we got a super chat coming in. I'm seeing Vehicle Ranks is here. A $2 super chat. Trevor May with the smiley face. We're going to talk about Trevor May towards the end of this show tonight. But again, Gary Sanchez, I'm not surprised the Yankees brought him back. Would I have brought him back? That's hard. I mean, I don't know. If I'm the Yankees, I'm in win now mode. I think with a Gary Sanchez, you can still try to trade him. He now does have a set salary for the year. He's going to be making $5.5 million. You could try to trade Gary Sanchez. That's not off the table. He could still get involved in some kind of a trade, but I would try to trade him. Unless if you feel like, if you're the New York Yankees, if you feel like you are this close to having him become this much better defensive catcher, then hey, power to you. Right now, Jacob Benman has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. But Gary Sanchez, to me, I don't know. I think he has one more year. One more year. And if he can't get it right all the way across, I mean, I'm not saying he needs to be like this 40 home run guy, 30 home run guy. Dude, I would rather have a Gary Sanchez hit 20 home runs, but give you so much more defense. That's how I would be perfectly okay with that, but that's just me. I don't know. Tell me what you think in the chat. Do you think this is a good move for the New York Yankees? Give me a thumbs up if you think this is a good move for the Yankees. Give me a thumbs down if you think this is a bad move. Avery Mahler has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. 177 people in the chat right now. Thank you so much for coming by, everyone. We're here talking baseball all the time here, so definitely consider subscribing if you are looking for more baseball news, more baseball content. We're talking baseball here all the time. So give me those thumbs ups, give me those thumbs downs. What do you think of Gary Sanchez going back to the Yankees? I need to see some more thumbs ups and thumbs downs. Drew Venny, he thinks it's a good move. Luke Kenny, he's got 6 thumbs ups. Nick Rivera has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Jesus Chavez, the Kraken. So it sounds like he likes it. Frank with the thumbs up. So the Leopard, he says keep him. Manuel Rio, he was rocking out, and then he said, nah, thumbs down. Luke Kenny with the thumbs up. Ramon Morales, thumbs up. So I understand. Oh, Red Sox baseball is vomiting all over the place. I'm waiting for Yankees fans to watch Gary have a good year and then preach for them to resign him. I mean, that could happen. I'm not the biggest Gary Sanchez fan, but I'm not like rooting for this guy's career to just blow up. I'm not looking for that. I hope Gary Sanchez can somehow turn into a better defensive catcher. What I do know about Gary Sanchez, he one thing, and I think Yankee fans would agree about this. My best friend, who is a huge Yankees fan, he says all the time to me, when Gary Sanchez slumps, he really slumps. He gets into his head. He becomes like this mental monkey, and he just can't snap out of these slumps. So that's one thing with Gary Sanchez. He's really got to find a way to be more of a consistent hitter. If he does get into slumps, he has to have a shorter memory. So that is one thing I think Gary Sanchez, he's got to work on the defense, and he's got to work on just not getting in your head so much. I think he just seems like he is just not having a fun time a lot. When I watch a Gary Sanchez, the body language doesn't look all there. I'm just saying. So, but before I actually move on, I actually did not cover these couple of things. I said I would, and I forgot to. So, a couple else of the other non-tenders that happened before I get to my next story. So we had a super chat earlier talking about Adam Duvall. This one's a little surprising. The Braves non-tendering Adam Duvall, who I thought had a pretty decent year. He had a lot of power this past year, a little low on the average, a little low on the on base. That says something to me, though. That says something to where Eddie Rosario, a pretty good power hitter. Adam Duvall, pretty good power hitter. Kyle Schwarber, pretty good power hitter. That's 3 guys that got non-tendered just like that. And these guys all hit for power. They all have low on-base percentages. Adam Duvall really had a good slugging. Adam Duvall, didn't he have like a 9 RBI game or something like that? Like, he had like one heck of a game, and I had him on my fantasy team for that, and that was incredible. So, but I am a little surprised about this. So it makes me wonder, what are the Braves doing here? Are they maybe looking to make some other kind of a move? Yes, Joe Schubert, he had a 3 home run game. So yeah, Adam Duvall was going off at one point. So David Knight, we finally have some baseball action. Oh my God, I've been beating my head against a brick wall, just waiting for something to happen, and we're finally getting some juicy stuff. It feels wonderful. Orioles, that trade did not happen. Stop it. So here we go. Adam Duvall, a little interesting. I'm wondering what the Braves are going to do here. But it is interesting to see all these power hitter guys who had a lot of home runs, but low on base percentages. They're getting DFA'd, so that maybe is telling me what teams are kind of looking for right now. They're not really so crazy about the home run ball. Maybe they're trying to start getting more towards these, I mean, they've always looked for guys that can get on base, but they're really moving towards that direction, I feel like, especially like a team like the Twins. I think the Twins, they need to do something with that lineup. It just seems like they are just so reliant on the home run ball. I don't know. I thought Adam Duvall was a pretty good hitter. He had a pretty good WRC plus, 118 WRC plus. But yeah, he had 16 home runs this past season. So, pretty good. I'm just saying. But yeah, so as it says here, but that was not enough to convince the Braves to tender him a contract. So, But Ken Rosenthal, he does think right here, he did say here, while Duvall is no longer a Brave, it doesn't necessarily mean they won't bring him back for a cheaper salary, as Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic tweets that they'll consider re-signing him. I think this also has to do with what's going to happen with Marcell Ozuna. This is going to be interesting, and Nick Markakis. So I think honestly, I think they're willing to kind of let Duvall go, but I think they're also kind of trying to reassess their own situation at the same time. This could maybe mean to me, what this really says right here, we got someone else subscribing. Joe Schubert has subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Wow, 188 people in here right now. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. But what this says to me is, for me, I think a lot of you might agree with this, is they want to bring Marcell Ozuna back. I mean, they're not going to bring back Duvall, so they're really focused on a Marcell Ozuna. Maybe this means maybe the National League is not going to get a designated hitter. Maybe they know there's not a designated hitter. It has not been announced. Ryan Block has subscribed. What's going on, my friend? But maybe there is something behind the scenes where these teams, they do know maybe they're not going to have a designated hitter. So Marcell Ozuna, I mean, am I saying this right? Matisse Cardenas. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but welcome to the channel. So anyway, Marcell Ozuna, this tells me that the Braves, they want to bring Marcell Ozuna back. So that is my thought on that. But who knows? I wouldn't rule out Adam Duvall going back to the Braves. Who knows what's going to happen? There's no one signed. What is going on this offseason? Can something happen? The most exciting thing that has happened is there anything exciting that has happened? I mean, I think Trevor May is maybe the most exciting one. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing going on. Anyway. There was one more non-tender. We got another subscriber coming in. Highlight Hitters has just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. We have 197 people in the chat right now. Holy crap, you guys are awesome right now. Oh, Josh Lubchinsky, Mike Minor to the Royals. That was a good one too. That was huge. Huge move. But yes, Finks, we are going to get to that in a second. So we will talk about that here in just a second. But there was one other non-tender that I thought was also a little surprising. Archie Bradley, the Reds non-tendering Archie Bradley. They just acquired him at the trade deadline. Why are you not bringing him back? I don't understand. Tim Rico has just subscribed. What is going on, my friend? We have broken the 200 viewer mark. So thank you everyone for coming out tonight. So but yeah, Archie Bradley, they just traded for this guy and he had a pretty good year. Why are the Reds not bringing this guy back? What was he going to make? Doesn't say here. It still says more to come, but Archie Bradley had a pretty good year. And when he came over to the Reds, he was really good. He pitched 7 2/3 innings. He had a 1.17 ERA, a 3.32 FIP. He was doing pretty good with the Reds. I was a little surprised about this one. So Pedro has just subscribed. And yes, Josh Lubchinsky in the chat says it best. Cheers to you, my friend. Welcome to the channel. So Archie Bradley not going back to the Reds. A little surprised about that one. I thought, I don't know. What are the Reds doing? I don't know. I thought he was a pretty good bullpen arm. Why would you not bring him back? I don't know. Whatever. But I think we're all caught up with, there's a lot of non-tenders out there. I think there might still be one happening. Oh, we got a super chat going on. What is going on? Judah Paul has donated $1 through the super chat. Thank you so much, Judah Paul. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Josh Lubchinsky says, who's your daddy, Pedro? Oh, that still gives me nightmares every single night. But hey, the Red Sox won the World Series that year, so what can I say? There is nothing to update on MLB trade rumors, so we can move on to the next story. But the next bit of news that we have, this one isn't really, the move itself is not really a crazy story, but I think it really says something about what this team is trying to do. Travis Shaw has been non-tendered, so we're sticking with the non-tenders right now. But this, to me, this means a lot of things. This means the Blue Jays, they are ready to do something with that infield. Travis Shaw, third baseman, not coming back. What does this mean? This could mean a lot of things. First off, third base is open now. You could go after a guy like a Chris Bryant. You could go after a Nolan Arenado. You could... Who is another third baseman that I'm thinking? I can't think of another third baseman right now. But you could go after a third baseman. Second base, you could go after a DJ LeMahieu. You could go after a Colton Wong. You can move Kevin Biggio over to third base. The Blue Jays are set to do something. I'm not sure. Whoa, what is going on? What is going on? We got a super chat coming in. $14.99 super chat has just dropped. Joshua Kesserwan, thank you so much. How are you doing, my friend? So in Trevor Bauer's latest vlog, he took a phone call from AJ Hinch. Ooh, what do you think that could be about? I mean, to me, I think Trevor Bauer, that dude, he's going to be getting calls all over the league. AJ Hinch, hey, you know what? The Tigers, don't be surprised if the Tigers make some kind of a move this offseason. They did it back in 2005 after that terrible 2004 season. They were making moves that after that 2004 season, they brought in Ivan Rodriguez. After that, they brought in Maglio Ordonez. Then they brought in Kenny Rogers, Mr. Pine Tar himself. And the Tigers ended up becoming a horrible team. They went from a horrible team to being a World Series team. They didn't win the World Series that year. Judah Paul with a super chat. Someone just subscribed. We just had like two things happen at the same time. Judah Paul with a $2 super chat. Do a collab with Giraffe Neck Mark. I mean, maybe one day. Who knows? I don't know. Giraffe Neck Mark, if you're here, hey, let's collab, my friend. Let's do it. Why not? Let's do it. But whoever just subscribed, I'm so sorry. I didn't catch who that was. But oh yes, also there was. Thank you, Matisse Cardenas, Morton to the Braves. That was a good move. Yes. So yeah, there's that super chat from Judah Paul. Thank you so much. But where were we? So Travis Shaw, let's get to the story on that. But yeah, so this could mean a lot of things for the Blue Jays. I think they're ready to do something. The Blue Jays are not really a team that has been known to spend a lot of money, but I think the Blue Jays, they're thinking seems like they're going to be building a new stadium as long as it gets all the approvals and whatnot. I'm not sure what the exact process is, but the Blue Jays, it seems like they're very ready to make some kind of a move. They are very ready to add something, maybe even a couple of things this offseason. Could you imagine if they bring in like a guy like a George Springer or a DJ LeMahieu or maybe both? I mean, shoot. Sign everyone. Bring in Trevor Bauer while you're at it. But as a Braves fan, can we just go ahead and say everyone to the Mets? Let's have everyone go to the Mets. Everyone to the Mets. Giraffe Neck Mark would never stop talking if that happened, though. So, we can't do that. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if you see the Mets drop like $6 billion this offseason. So, but yeah, the Blue Jays, they're set to do something. They are set to make some noise. And I think just one piece in Travis Shaw, not a big move. Travis Shaw didn't really have the best of years last year. I mean, if you take a look, he didn't really do all that much. He basically contributed nothing. He had 6 home runs, 239 average, a 306 on base. I mean, kind of a whatever year. Hey, I love me some mayor of Ding Dong City, Travis Shaw. But at the end of the day, he wasn't really doing much for your team. So with Travis Shaw gone, again, not a big move in itself, but this opens up a lot of things. You could add a third baseman and you can add a second baseman. There's a lot of things the Blue Jays can do. Look out for the Blue Jays this offseason. I know everyone's all Mets, but look out for the Blue Jays. They are all over the place. Every single time you see some kind of a big free agent name, the Blue Jays are always attached to it all the time. Every single one. George Springer, JT Realmuto, Trevor Bauer, George Springer, they have been linked to all of them. They are going to make a move. I'm not sure what that move is going to be, but they're going to do it. They're going to make a big one this offseason, and I'm not sure what it's going to be, but look out for the Blue Jays. So let's move on to the next story. Here we go. Jose Iglesias has been traded, and I have a bit of a connection with the Jose Iglesias, being the Red Sox fan that I am. It was a terrible year this past year, but Jose Iglesias, we had Jose Iglesias in 2013, and we ended up trading him away, and that was the last we ever saw of Jose Iglesias in Boston. But Jose Iglesias coming up with the Red Sox, he was a top prospect. He has been pretty solid ever since then, one of the better defensive shortstops in the game. But this is big news for a couple of things. First off, the Angels get their shortstop. They get a pretty good shortstop. Jose Iglesias last year, holy crap. Did anyone see the stats that this dude put up? He was hurt a bit at one point, so I guess that was affecting his defense a little bit. But let's share the screen. Here we go. So this dude had a heck of a year. Holy crap. Did anyone realize this guy hit almost 400 last year? Did anyone see that? Does anyone see this stat line? This is nuts. He had a 373 batting average. It was 142 at-bats. Let's see if he could do that over a full season. Probably not. But, I mean, come on. This guy had a 400 on base. And the Angels, the Angels are a team that, yes, I agree, Joe Schubert, it is a sample size. But still, that's pretty good. But if he can get his body right to where he's playing out in the field well, the Angels just got themselves a really good shortstop, in my opinion. Trust me, Jose Iglesias, I was really high on Jose Iglesias coming up through the Red Sox system back in 2012 and 2013. Everyone was saying that was the Red Sox shortstop of the future. They ended up trading him away, and yeah, and that was that. They got Jake Peavy out of that. That ended up working out. We won the World Series that year. So Jose Iglesias to the Angels, he is now going to be their shortstop. They needed a shortstop. A lot of people were thinking maybe a Didi Gregorius could go there, maybe a Marcus Semien. Maybe they could swing a deal for a guy like a Francisco Lindor. But this has answered the shortstop problem for the Angels. Andrelton Simmons is on his way out, and now they're bringing in another good defensive shortstop in Jose Iglesias. He's going to give more of a bat than Andrelton Simmons did. So I think this is a great move from the Angels. But what this also does for the Angels is they instead of spending money on a guy, how much is he going to be making in 2021? $3 million? I mean, that's a bargain if you ask me. So they're only going to be spending $3 million on Jose Iglesias. Now they still have all this other money to go after a Trevor Bauer. So this, to me, I think this could be the first step in a very successful offseason for the Angels. Again, I'm not surprised to see them make this kind of a move. They needed a shortstop. Jose Iglesias, to me, is a pretty underrated one. He's had a pretty decent career. I mean, he's not going to, blow your socks off or whatever, but, I mean, he's not bad. The on base could be better through his career, but what he does is he brings defense. So, again, the defense was a little low this past offseason, but he's always been pretty good when it comes to defense. He's really good at shortstop, I'm telling you. But the offense, you're going to get more than an Andrelton Simmons, in my opinion. So, I think this is a great move for the Angels. Personally, tell me what you think in the chat. Do you think this is a good move, bringing in a Jose Iglesias? I think it's a great move. I love the move. Maybe I'm a bit biased because I love Jose Iglesias. I really liked him coming up with the Red Sox, but that's just me. Tell me what you think in the chat. I want to see the thumbs ups. I want to see the thumbs downs. Tell me what you think. Joshua Kesserwan gives it a thumbs up. Avery Mahler says, yes, Kira Owens is rocking out to the move. Ramon Morales saves them money. I think that's the best part. I think it's the best part. I think that is the absolute best part for bringing in a Jose Iglesias, for trading for him, because you didn't have to spend on a guy like a Didi Gregorius. You didn't have to spend on a guy like a Marcus Semien. So I'm just saying. I think that's a great move. I think that could be one of the most underrated moves in this offseason. For those of you guys that have been, guys and gals that have been following me throughout this past year, you guys know I like me some defense. I like a guy that can play some defense. I love defense. I think it's a pretty underrated thing in baseball. And bringing in a Jose Iglesias, I think it's a great move. I love that move. I think it could end up being one of the most underrated moves this offseason. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but whatever. I'm basically making Jose Iglesias sound like Babe Ruth right now, but whatever. I like me Jose Iglesias. So, moving on to the next story. We got a lot to talk about. What is going on? All right, I get to talk about my own team for once. The Red Sox. No, I forgot to update the picture. No, I forgot to update it. No, the one time I get to talk about my own thing is I didn't change the picture. Oh, I hate myself. All right, here we go. Fine. All right, here we go. So, Red Sox showing interest. Don't look at that picture. It's the wrong one. Dang it. Oh, the one time I get to talk about my own team and I didn't put the right picture. That was from the last stream. I hate everything. But anyway, my Red Sox, they're showing some interest in Corey Kluber. I predicted the Red Sox to get Corey Kluber this offseason. He was on my free agent predictions. I think, honestly, out of all the free agents the Red Sox should go for, I think Corey Kluber is the guy they should go after. This is a guy that has Chaim Bloom written all over it. A guy that has been injured for the last couple of years. He's going to save some money. Chaim Bloom loves a bargain. Chaim Bloom is the guy that will go to Stop and Shop, will go to the grocery store with a binder full of coupons because he wants to save himself some money. Corey Kluber is the Chaim Bloom kind of a deal that should be made. He needs to get Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber, he lives right near Boston in the offseason. Holy crap. If you're the Red Sox, go get Corey Kluber. Whatever, his arm could fall off, but you're not going to lose a whole bunch of money because he's probably going to come cheap. His value really took a hit in the last couple of years. Corey Kluber, this is a guy, this was like a former Cy Young winner. Corey Kluber, let's just pull up the stats. I think a lot of people have forgotten about Corey Kluber. Let's pull up the stats. Here we go, Corey Kluber. I mean, the guy has basically given you nothing in the last couple of years. He was terrible in 2019. He pitched 1 inning in 2020. He has been non-existent. But holy crap, look at what this guy was doing from 2016 to 2018. He was a 3-time All-Star in those 3 years. I mean, holy crap. He won the Cy Young in 2017. He finished 3rd in 2018, finished 3rd in 2016, and then he won the Cy Young in 2014. This guy is nuts. Give me Corey Kluber. I want Corey Kluber. Chaim Bloom, if for some odd reason you are in this chat right now, who knows? Maybe you are. Maybe you're sitting there looking for deals online because that's just what you do, Mr. Chaim Bloom. You look for deals anywhere you can. But Chaim Bloom, if you're here, go get Corey Kluber. Please go get him. Our team is terrible. Can you please just go do something fun? I think this could end up being a lightning in a bottle kind of a move. I think this move is such a why not? It's a low risk kind of a move, and it could be the most rewarding kind of a move you could ever make. Like I said, his arm could completely fall off in the first inning he pitches for the Red Sox if that happens. But whatever, you're not going to lose a lot of money with Corey Kluber. I think you could probably get him for a year, maybe like $10 million, maybe like $8 million. I think it'd be right around that. I mean, maybe even cheaper than that. I don't really know. I don't know what his value would be. I could say you could probably, if Charlie Morton got $15 million, and if you got, so Corey Kluber, I'm just thinking right now, if Charlie Morton got $15 million, and you're talking about Corey Kluber here, multiple time Cy Young winner, multiple time All-Star, one of the better pitchers in the game, but 2 years has been gone now. I'd say you could probably get him for like 10 to 12 million. I would imagine Charlie Morton's going to get more money because Charlie Morton he's actually pitched in the last couple of years. So, I don't know. I think this is a great move for the Red Sox if they can do it. However, the Red Sox are going to have some competition. So John Morosi was the one to report this first off, so we'll give him some credit. Red Sox showing interest in free agent Corey Kluber. He is expected to throw bullpen sessions this month. I think a lot of teams are going to be interested in Corey Kluber. Why? Because the pandemic affected pretty much every single team, and they're looking to save some money. Corey Kluber is going to have a market. However, there are 3 teams that are showing interest. Yankees, Mets, Red Sox. Not surprised to see the Yankees showing some interest. Not surprised to see the Mets showing some interest. In all honesty, I think this could end up coming down to the Red Sox and the Yankees. I really think that. I think the Yankees, they could use some starting pitching. I mean, you need if you could bring in a guy like a Corey Kluber and he ends up being healthy, could you imagine Garrett Cole and Corey Kluber game 1 and game 2 in the postseason? Holy crap, that would be really good if Corey Kluber was healthy. But then for the Red Sox were the worst team last year when it came to starting pitching. They were the worst team statistically. They were awful. They were throwing out, who the heck were they even pitching last year? You didn't even have Eduardo Rodriguez. You didn't have Chris Sale. They were throwing out guys like Ryan Weber. And I was like hoping for the best with what they had going into that season. And none of it worked out. It was awful for the Red Sox last year. They basically had a sack of potatoes pitching one game. They had no pitchers at all. It was terrible, horrible season as a Red Sox fan. I could see this. I really could. And I'm really not being biased here. I promise you, I am not being biased with this one. This one makes a lot of sense to me. If this was I don't know, whatever, the Pirates Pirates aren't a good example. You know what I mean? If this was any team, I mean, and you were in the Red Sox situation last year, I think this is a move. And especially because he lives right outside of Boston. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to speak for Corey Kluber, but that sounds like it makes some sense. So tell me what you think in the chat down below. Do you think this would be a good move for the Red Sox? I mean, obviously, I think we all agree this would be a pretty good move, but do you think this will happen? Do you think Corey Kluber will go to the Red Sox? Give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down if you think Corey Kluber ends up elsewhere. So thumbs up for the Red Sox, thumbs down for another team. The Red Sox themselves gave it a thumbs up in the chat. That's what I like to see. Cole Halldorf said, sounds good. Joe Schubert, not if the Red Sox want to compete in the next 2 years. I mean, they got to bring in some pitching, man. Kira Owens does not like it. DMD, hello, what's going on? He's got the thumbs up. Johnny Mears, honestly, seriously, like, please, baseball gods, please. If you are a Red Sox fan and you want anything, absolutely. I'll take Pedro Martinez right now. How old's Pedro? Is he, like 50? I'll bring Pedro Martinez back right now. I think Pedro Martinez would have done better than any of the Red Sox last year. So, let's see. E. Gonzalez, he is rocking out. Judah Paul says no. Yeah, David Knight, I agree. It makes sense for anyone, honestly. If any team could bring in a Corey Kluber, because he's not going to get a lot of money. So I agree. But it's the location of where he lives in the offseason. To be honest with you, I didn't know the guy lived in Massachusetts. And then I found out he lived in Massachusetts. But then I found out he lived right near Boston. So, I mean, come on. That makes a lot of sense. Why not? Do a 1-year deal. You're right there near where you live in the offseason. I say go for it. Why not? If you live right there, why not? Corey Kluber, if you're in the chat right now, come to Boston. Come to Boston. We'll love you here. And who knows, maybe you could win a Cy Young Award. Can I just present this right now? I'm going to be on air. I'm going to be on the record. I'm going to tell you right now, if the Red Sox if they get Corey Kluber and he ends up coming back healthy, the Red Sox are getting a wild card. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you get Eduardo Rodriguez back for a full season, you get a healthy Corey Kluber that gets even somewhat kind of close to what he was like 3 years ago. I mean, I'm just saying, you got a Nathan Eovaldi, if he can stay healthy. You got a Tanner Houck who has some potential. Who knows? Maybe Nick Pivetta could do something. You're going to get Chris Sale later on in the year. Mark my words. If the Red Sox end up getting Corey Kluber and he ends up being healthy, mark my words, the Red Sox will get a wild card spot. I'll tell you that right now. You can all call me an idiot if that ends up not happening. I am more than welcome. You can bash me all you want if that doesn't happen, but I don't care. I'm confident enough to tell you if Corey Kluber comes to the Red Sox and he's healthy and he ends up doing well, Red Sox are getting a wild card spot. And I'm telling you that right now. So I need this move. I really need this move now because everyone's going to call me an idiot if that doesn't happen. So anyway, let's move on to our next story. Our next story, we're actually at the end right now. So not really too much else. We'll take one quick look at MLB trade rumors before we get out of here. But one more story I do want to talk about. This to me is a pretty underrated move. Trevor May signs with the Mets. I think this is a fantastic move for the Mets. Trevor May, in my opinion, was a very underrated relief pitcher in this market. Very underrated. I predicted that he would go to the Marlins. I think the Marlins really could have used a guy like Trevor May. If they, he ended up not really costing all that much. I think he signed like a 2-year, $15 million deal. I love this move. It's not a blockbuster kind of a move, but oh my, this, especially with the Mets, especially with that bullpen that they had last couple of years, honestly. Trevor May is a guy, he throws gas, first off. That dude is nasty. I'm going to tell you right now, Trevor May, he has been one of the better setup guys in the game in the last couple of years. So let's actually let's share the screen. Here we go. So Trevor May, let's take a look at Trevor May. Let's pull up the stats. This guy's been pretty good. I'm just saying. I mean, he strikes out a lot of guys. He's not going to be the most flashy guy, but this is a really solid guy to have in your bullpen. I know it was a short season last year, but look at the strikeouts per 9. About 15 strikeouts per 9 for Trevor May. That is nasty. That's really good. And he's had a lot of strikeouts in the last couple of years. This is a guy, I think, he had a 3.62 FIP. That was right around what his ERA was. So that's kind of what you're going to get with a Trevor May. He's going to give up some runs here and there, but this is a guy, I think, if you have him in your bullpen, in Queens, I think this could be the first of many really good moves to get the Mets back in the picture. I really think this. I think Trevor May is huge for that New York Mets bullpen. I love this signing. I think this is really good. So hold on one second. There we go. So, Trevor May, I love this move. I mean, there's not really too much to say about it. It's a pretty low-key kind of a move, but I think this is a really good step in the right direction for that Mets bullpen. It didn't cost a lot of money. Again, it was $15.5 million. So, it's a 2-year deal. I think this could end up being really good for the Mets. So tell me what you think down in the chat. Do you think Trevor May to the Mets could be a step in the right direction? What do you think? Tell me what you think down below. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Tell me what you think down below in the chat. Joe Schubert may make sense. Lugo in the rotation. I wonder what ends up happening with Lugo, especially if they bring in like a Trevor Bauer, and then they're gonna get Noah Syndergaard back eventually. I mean, I think Lugo would head back to the bullpen. I would imagine. Cole Halldorf is giving the thumbs up. So, alrighty. Robert Manfred, see you later, my friend. Thanks for coming out. Oh, we got a trade. Ooh, a Corey Knebel trade. Ooh. We got to pull this up. Dodgers acquire. Wow. Here we go. Dodgers announced that so this happened about an hour ago. Is this an hour ago? Or is this like 15 minutes ago? Dodgers announced that they've acquired right-hander Corey Knebel from the Brewers. Interesting. In exchange for a player to be named later. The trade comes after Knebel was reportedly set to be non-tendered. He struggled this past season coming back from Tommy John, but he was an all-star in 2017. But he really got rocked this past year. I mean, goodness gracious. Look at that ERA. Not very good. But, guys tend to end up not being too great when they come back from Tommy John. It kind of takes him some time. Look, a guy like Trevor Rosenthal, for example. That's a good example. He really struggled after that year he had Tommy John. So if we take a look at Corey Knebel. Again, he was an all-star a couple of years ago, a few years ago now. Look at the ERA back then, 1.78 ERA. I mean, this guy has been pretty good out of the bullpen. Look how many games he pitched that year, 76 games. He had about 15 strikeouts per 9. He was very good. 2017, 2018. This could end up being a pretty good move for the Dodgers. I think this has a lot of potential. Again, a down year for him in this past year. But again, what do you expect from a guy coming back from Tommy John? It's going to take some time. So it's going to take him some time to kind of, get back into the swing of things. It'll be interesting to see if the Dodgers can, if they can help him bounce back, and maybe a new environment's going to help him. But yeah, honestly, the Dodgers, I like what the Dodgers are doing. They're not making all these big splashy moves, but they're making some good little retooling moves. They still got a lot of things to do, I think. Well, I don't want to say a lot of things, but they definitely still have some things. Are they going to bring Turner back? Are they going to maybe bring in a guy like LeMahieu maybe? I don't know. They're pretty close to maxing out on that payroll before you get over the luxury tax. So I think it's a pretty good move where, I mean, who knows what they end up giving up for him. I don't think you're going to give up a lot for him. Like I said, he had Tommy John, so he was going to get non-tendered, So it'll be interesting to see how this ends up going for the Dodgers. I think it's a good move. Why not? It's a low risk move. I think the player to be named later, or it says or cash. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But it sounds like they got him for basically nothing. We'll have to see who that player is down the road. But hey, why not? It's a low risk move for the Dodgers, so I don't think this is a bad move. So overall, everyone, that is what I got. Let's take a quick look at MLB trade rumors. Let's see if they have. So here's all the. Let's go. Actually, this is actually pretty good. They have a list here of all the non-tendered players. So let's just take a quick look here. You had Kirk Casale, Tony Walters, catchers that have been non-tendered. Ronhal Ravello, that's an interesting one. Ronhal Ravello has a lot of power potential. I'd be interested to see where he goes. Danny Santana, Hanser Alberto, Kyle Farmer, Greg Garcia, Jason Guzman, Travis Shaw, we talked about him earlier. Maikel Franco, David Dahl. That's an interesting one, too. That's a pretty interesting one. A lot of some decent names here in the left fielders. So David Dahl, Adam Duvall, Eddie Rosario, Kyle Schwarber. We talked about those three earlier. David Dahl is interesting. Let's actually take a look. David Dahl, he had a pretty bad year this past year. But this is a guy where he had, in 2019, he had 15 home runs. He hit 302. He had an 877 OPS, 859 OPS in 2018. David Dahl was an all-star in 2019. That's it. I can't believe I even missed that. When did that happen? David Dahl is a very interesting one to keep an eye on. I'm not sure. Did he have the Coors Field effect? I don't know. But David Dahl is an interesting one. Keep an eye on David Dahl. Maybe that can end up being a pretty low-key kind of a move that ends up being a pretty good one this offseason. Going back to the list, center fielders, you had Albert Almora, Delino DeShields. That's an interesting one. Brian Goodwin, that's a pretty interesting one. Scott Heineman, Eric Meja, Bubba Starling. Oh, Nomar Mazara, that's an interesting one too. So Nomar Mazara, he was the right fielder for the White Sox last year. This is actually very interesting. I'm glad we're going through this list right now because now this really opens up right field for the White Sox. You know what that tells me? I think the White Sox need pitching more, but look out for them going after a George Springer. I'm just saying, I really could maybe see that. Maybe you could even go after a guy like a Jackie Bradley Jr., where you can, I mean, he's been playing center field most of the time, but you could put Jackie Bradley out in right field, and that could end up being a pretty good outfield defensively. So maybe the White Sox go after Marcell Ozuna, maybe, I don't know. So, but Nomar Mazara, I think him being non-tendered, I think this is a sign that the White Sox, they're ready to make some kind of a move. We'll have to wait and see what they end up doing. Here we go. So Jose Martinez, that was an interesting one. So he was in a trade last year. Was he in the Randy Arozarena trade last year? I believe he was. But he ended up not really doing anything for the Rays this past season. He ended up getting traded to the Cubs. So who knows what ends up happening with him. I mean, he's 32 years old now. I mean, who knows if he can have a bounce back year. But yeah, so that's him. Who else? We had Tyler Anderson, Chichi Gonzalez, Ario Girardo, Carlos Rodon, Jeffrey Rodriguez, Jose Urena, and then some relievers as well. And the Red Sox, they also brought back Matt Barnes. That was one where some people were wondering if the Red Sox were going to non-tender Matt Barnes. And because he's been kind of up and down in the last couple of years. He hasn't really had great success closing. He had a couple of saves this past year. He did pretty decent in that role. But Matt Barnes, he's going to strike out a lot of guys, but he tends to give up runs. So definitely it's surprising that the Red Sox, I don't want to say it's surprising, but a lot of people were thinking Matt Barnes could have been non-tendered. But as for this, we talked about Archie Bradley earlier, RJ Alanis, Justin Anderson, Matt Andriese, is that how you pronounce it? Overall, not bad by any means. He had 16 games in the bullpen for the Angels. Kind of whatever. So that's a name. Maybe he could, fill in somewhere in middle relief. But yeah, Archie Bradley, AJ Cole, Edgar Garcia, Jonathan Holder. He was with the Yankees. So he didn't do all that great, did he? He was kind of whatever. 4.98 ERA. Yeah, not very good year. He had a pretty good year a couple of years ago back in 2018. He was pretty good in that bullpen that year. He had 60 games. So I think Jonathan Holder, you could see him go somewhere. So Clay Holmes, Kayan Middleton, Hansel Robles. I believe he was the closer for the Angels a couple of years ago. So he had 23 saves a couple of years ago for the Angels. He had a 2.48 ERA. He was really good, and he really stumbled this past year. So the Angels, they've moved on from him. He still had a decent amount of strikeouts. So, and how old is he? He is 30. So I still think Hansel Robles could end up, doing something for a team. So look out for him this offseason. Paul Sewald, Ryan Stanek, Ryan Tepera. How did he do? Ryan Tepera, he ended up doing okay. He pitched 21 games for the Cubs, 3.92 ERA. He had a better FIP, 3.34. He had 13 and a half strikeouts per nine. He finished 18th in the MVP. And he got non-tendered. Wow, the Cubs are really, they're starting to get rid of some guys. Wow, this is an interesting one right here. Ryan Tepera. He had a pretty good year out of the bullpen. Not bad, but I mean, he had almost 14 strikeouts per nine in 21 games, 20 innings. He was a pretty decent guy in that bullpen for the Cubs. He finished 18th in MVP. How is this guy even on the MVP? Who else got MVP votes? That's hilarious to me. I think that's kind of funny. Wow. Even he's right there with Devin Williams. So, yeah, interesting. But who else? Nick Tropiana, Matt Wisler, Hobie Milner, Chasing Shreve. You know, there's some decent names to look out for. I think left field, I think these guys, if any teams that are looking for some power, David Dahl, Adam Duvall, Eddie Rosario, Kyle Schwarber. I mean, Kyle Schwarber's the big one. So definitely look out. I think Travis Shaw being non-tendered, I think that really opens up some kind of a move for the Blue Jays. So, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening with all of these guys. But that is the news tonight, everyone. Let me come back to you here. Everyone, wow, what a great turnout tonight. 192 people in the chat right now. Wow. Hey, great night, everyone. Thank you for coming out to tune in for some baseball news. A busy day of baseball news. Finally, we had something, I don't want to say just something, multiple things happen today. It feels nice to get some baseball news. Before I get out of here, if you can, hit that thumbs up for me. I see we're at 84 thumbs up right now. So if you can, hit that thumbs up for me. Let's get to 100 likes before we get out of here tonight. Again, if you are, we got someone subscribing. Greg C has just subscribed. Thank you, my friend, for subscribing. But everyone, we're on the road to 4,000 subscribers. We are drawing close. It says right now I'm at 3.92 thousand subscribers. So it looks like we're within 80 subscribers. We got 1 week. 1 week. If we can get to 4,000 subscribers by the 1 year anniversary, that would be amazing. So everyone, I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. Thank you so much. Great night of talking some baseball tonight. Matthew Burns just subscribed. Welcome to the channel. Everyone, again, thank you so much for coming out tonight. And if there is some more baseball news tomorrow, I will be right back here tomorrow night. So, and anything else? Nope, that's all I got for tonight. And have a good night. I'll talk to you next time.